Hey guys, I was looking through the slides here. I love them. I wanted to just give a quick video on them, so I'm not writing like a really long message. Just kind of run through it. The two reasons I want to make a video. First one is if I'm gonna give my thoughts on it. So if you're like, oh, you're reading that wrong, or that's not how I wanted to come across, you might want to if you want to change it, just in case, maybe it doesn't come across right or something. I think everything looks good, but just in case I misinterpret something. The second thing is also if, for whatever reason, you're not able to present it, I'm willing to present it, my way. I don't think there'd be a problem, but let's say you have a sore throat or whatever's going on, or you can't show up, the show must go on. So I want to just have if one person cannot present it, someone else can. I'm probably worrying too much, but I just wanted to be prepared. So I'm gonna run through these just quickly. But yeah, so I really like the start of this. So I think this is the foundation. Without this presentation would not really be possible. So I think, yep, this is Lindsay's. It's really good. You got partisan dynamics in Italy as well as the United States. So just a basis on I think mostly Italy, since I don't really know how their government 100% works. I'm not familiar with it, so this kind of gives a basis of what Italy's doing. So yeah, and then the United States as well. And this one I'm pretty familiar with, obviously. Oh, actually, I did not know there were 435 members. Okay, I need to do some research. But yeah, this is really good. So yeah. And then the timeline here, I love this. I think this is mentioned a little bit later on as well, but this is definitely a good start. One thing, I don't know who's presenting this, but whoever it is, I really like this argument right here, which talks about the upstick in mental health issues. So something I'd mention with that, a cool thing I was thinking, so I'm 20 years old, and we've been wearing masks and dealing with COVID for 2 years now, or almost 2 years. So you can say 10% of my life I've had to deal with COVID. And so what mental health effects does that have? I think that's something that you can briefly mention if you want. That's probably one of the most interesting things I like about this graph, besides the fact that it gives a really good timeline of the pandemic. So this one's really interesting here. I don't know whose slide this is. I did make some adjustments to it. So I'm sorry if that, confuses anything. I just wanted to add a couple of things to compare it. Because this is the timeline of the pandemic. So it starts out really early in January 31st, Italy suspends flights to China. And that's a good start. And I think that really shows Italy had their finger on the pulse on this one. And because you can see on the graph here, this was April 27th. They were really doing a great job for the first part of the pandemic of not spreading it, not killing people. And then, of course, they caught up, and they're really bad right now. But so just kind of running through these, I underlined some that I found really important. You can underline them, whatever you want to change around if you're presenting it. I can present it too, but I have a lot of slides that I understand. So this is probably not one I would want to do, but I'm willing to do it if no one else wants it. So just going through them, the dots represent where it's taking place. Green dots are Italy, blue dots are US. And then the ones that are underlined, of course, are important. So the Senate passes the CARES Act, which is the stimulus checks that some people have received. And then just a couple other interesting things. So global air travel is restricted in the United States. That's 3 days after Italy restricts flights to China. And then moving on from here, United States, yep, that's a big deal. The vaccine deal, that was May 21st. Unfortunately, it wasn't very successful because you could see July 2nd, states are reversing reopening plans. Things were not looking good. I should have underlined this here. So December, FDA grants the Pfizer BioNTech, the first emergency authorized mRNA vaccine. And then the cases and deaths begin to fall, which is really awesome. And that's January of 2021, which is more recent. And yeah, I think that graph really helps a lot too, to explain that. So this right here shows basically what the other graph was showing. Beginning, Italy was actually behind. So for March and April, they were really bad with COVID. And then they dramatically decreased. You can see they were really low for a while the United States went up. So why did that happen? The United States is really sure, like, really good at this kind of stuff. Why did this happen? This is one theory I had, which is the danger of face masks. So this is something I saw on Facebook. This was shared June 4th of 2020, shared nearly 30,000 times. And so it reduces oxygen to the blood, the brain reduces, that's funny, you start feeling weak, and it may lead to death. Now, that's something that's, of course, this was June 4th, people were really not sure about what masks, what repercussions masks had at that time, and so people were looking for like any kind of information. Unfortunately, this is wrong. Well, fortunately, I should say, it's wrong. Obviously, masks do not cause death. COVID does. But yeah, it's the thought that counts. This one right here, I love this one. So there's actually a lot of facts behind this. I don't know if I'm presenting this or not, once again, but Italy versus the United States, lockdown reactions and spread. So Italy incorporates the vaccine passport green pass. Now, this did not exist in the United States. I think it was deemed unconstitutional. I'm not sure about that though, but I know Italy had a green pass. And so that's interesting. Unfortunately, I don't think it was very successful. And I think this graph right here proves that. This is, confirmed cases of COVID-19. And I love how I don't love it's concentrated, but you can see how concentrated it is on the north part, whereas the south looks really safe, actually. And so one thing to point out here, and I think I had arrows before, but right around the edges, these are all bordering other countries. And so I think you've got like Switzerland, there's a couple other countries here, maybe, I don't know if it actually borders Italy, but there's another country over here, I think it's Slovenia, something, I don't know. But it's interesting because you can see this part is orange. So this part isn't as affected, even though it's bordering another country. And so what my point here is that these countries here were really not taking it seriously. And so they were very sick with COVID, and it spread quickly to the borders and into Rome and the north part of Italy. Whereas I think it's Slovenia, don't quote me on that. On this part here, they were really locked down, and they did a great job not spreading COVID. So actually Italy, and I had a red arrow pointing outward, Italy caused the first case of COVID in, I think it's Slovenia, yeah. So actually the first 5 cases reported in Slovenia were 3 of them were from Italy. And so Italy really screwed up on that one. But yeah, and the point I was trying to make is they are, compared to the United States, which is federalist, you can see you have strong increases and strong decreases in COVID numbers. But across April, May, and June, there's no real concentration. Even though this is bordering Mexico and bordering Canada, you're not really seeing that as much. And so my theory on that is that it wasn't as much travel outside of the United States. It was more inside. And so United States, you just kind of like, stay inside the borders and just get everyone else sick. And right over here, you can actually see, I'm going to talk about that in a minute, of why Florida and these areas are very red. But yeah, the point is these are spread across because it's federalist. This one maybe that's not right. These right here, it's concentrated in the north, not the south. And this is all bordering water as well, all around here. And yeah, and one theory I also had, if ships are coming in or anything like that, people trying to get in, a ship might take a few days to get to Italy. And so even if you have shipments still coming in, which I think most of them stopped during COVID, but by the time it would come in, like maybe a week, 2 weeks later, at that point, they might not even have COVID anymore. So that might help a little bit too. Okay, this right here, yep, 5 US states. So very diverse, and you're gonna see in the next slide the exact opposites of Vermont and Mississippi. So Vermont had a stay-at-home order, and actually due to 80% vaccination rate, which is insane, the state has lifted the restrictions on mask mandates and physical distancing. Now, Mississippi, just to run over here, so they had mask or stay-at-home order from April 3rd to May 11th. What in the world? So I don't know why they lifted it May 11th, because that was like, you know, the peak of COVID. But they're like, I don't care. So that's interesting. And then these are the in-between states: Texas, Florida, New York. Once again, I think, yeah, May 11th, May 15th, they lifted the mask or stay-at-home order. Currently, masks required are in places for all schools. Yep, restaurants, stores, gyms. Yep, own social distancing and protocols. And so, yeah. I added this slide here. I think it's relevant to what we're talking about. So, I will never wear a face muzzle. I will never take the vaccine. Of course, the muzzle is a mask. COVID is a hoax. It's got this like Santa Claus looking guy here. And this is all across the world. I think these two in the United States, that one's in the United States, this one's England here. I really love the enormous vaccine he's holding. But yeah, and then this one's my slide here, the one I made. I love this slide, so I'm gonna try to explain this just best as I can. First two, you've got, so this is the 2016 election. Every state that did not have a mask requirement was a red state. Every single one of them across the board. So that's interesting to me, because it's like, okay, yeah, that's that's a correlation. And the next two slides, you can also see another correlation, which is these are vaccine rates, and this is the annual flu. So these states are affected by the flu. It's in their like culture every year. You might have like 3 weeks of vacation or sick days if you have a job there that allows that, because they're just, you know, like you got Mississippi, Alabama, they're really used to having a bad flu season. And so the reason that's important is because the people there are like, look, COVID is just a super flu. That's all it really is. So we're not going to get vaccinated. And that's this graph right here. Mississippi, absolutely terrible. 31 to 40% are vaccinated. Whereas, of course, the exact opposite up here, Vermont, 70+%, I think 80% now, vaccines. So that's really good. And so what we can get out of this graph, unsurprisingly, the effects of it, you can see here of COVID cases, right down here. This whole section right here is really bad. Idaho up here, of course, no mask requirements. And then down here as well, you just have Mississippi, Tennessee, Georgia, South Carolina, Florida. None of them have mask requirements. Even though Alabama does. Once again, it's just a mess down there. And that's because people are calling it the super flu instead of COVID. Current mask mandates. These are not my slides here. I like this. So wearing a mask in busy outdoor stadiums. Of course, Italy has a lot more requirements as a country. Like, the Italian government can tell you what you cannot do. United States, it's more up to the states. And you can really see that from right here, of course, a lot of diversity. If this were Italy, or if the United States were, you know, like Italy, it would be all masks, or all states would have mask requirements. But we don't have that, of course. So very different from Italy, and that's a big comparison of mask mandates. United States cannot mandate it. And then the same thing with vaccine mandates. Italy requires all public and private workers to be vaccinated, or else they will lose pay, which is crazy. I mean, I don't know if it's good or bad, but that's crazy to lose pay for not having a vaccine. And then, of course, like, requires government-issued health pass, which is the green pass. I don't like the green pass. I have a lot of bad things to say about it because I think there's a lot of corruption, but I mean, whatever. 80% of Italians over the age of 12 are fully vaccinated. That's awesome. Whereas 56.6% of Americans are fully vaccinated. That's sad. And then, of course, 2 states are working on mandating vaccines for state workers. 2 states out of 50. Wow, okay. 4%. I didn't make this slide either. Very interesting. So Italy has 77% of vaccinated. Well, I thought it was 80%. Okay, here's this 80%. These must be different timelines. That's okay. So that might be something that has to be changed. But 77.83% of population is vaccinated, whereas the United States is 68.48%. And cases are rising daily. So this is actually really interesting here. It's kind of hard to see Italy hiding. I think that's Italy. Hopefully that's Italy. Actually, Italy is dark blue here, darker than the United States. Yeah, that's because this is going to be more recent. They've fallen behind a lot on maintaining COVID. But yeah, so other parts, this isn't part of our presentation, but of course Africa is probably hit pretty hard with it, but just not a lot of testing. And so it looks like it's not hit hard, but I think a lot of people are suffering there regardless because, you know, it's still present. It's just not as noticeable because they don't have a lot of testing for it, I don't believe, but I'm not sure on that. Yep, I added this meme. I love it. I don't know if I'm presenting this. I don't think I am. So if someone wants to erase that, that's fine. But I laughed at that. That's really funny to me. So why does Italy have such a higher vaccine rate than the United States? A couple of reasons for that. You can put your own reasons. What I had there, this is just something that came to my mind. About 2% of COVID cases cause fatality worldwide, which is really big if you think about it. 2% of people who get COVID die around the world. Now, Italy versus the United States, about 1.61% of people who get it die, whereas Italy is 2.68%. Which that's about 40% higher fatality rate than the United States. So that's something to think about as well. A lot more people are dying from COVID in Italy than the United States. There might be a reason behind that. Of course, there's a reason, but it might be healthcare. It might be like older population, whatever. Food for thought, but yeah. So whatever you guys think. If I'm presenting this, I can fix that. Whoever wants this slide, but basically put the slide together can also fix that if you want to present it yourself. And then this is, of course, part of it. This is, I think, up to date enough where it's fine. January 3rd. Oh, someone actually fixed that, I think. No, November. Yeah, I think someone fixed this. Okay, awesome, cool. November 17th. So currently, United States has a lot more deaths. But we also have a lot more confirmed cases than Italy. And so Italy has 88 million vaccines distributed, whereas the United States has 461, which that's really awesome. The United States has that many. That's more than our population, which I don't know how that works, but whatever. But yeah. And then works cited. This looks beautiful. I love this. Lindsay, you put a lot of time into this. This looks really good. I would not be smart enough to do this at all. So kudos to you for doing this. But yeah, so I hope this helps a little bit. Just kind of give you my thoughts. If you guys want to just let me know what you're planning on presenting. I'm not sure if everyone has a slide at this point that they've worked on or that they want to present. Maybe you've worked on it and someone else hijacked it and worked on it, which is probably me because I have a habit of doing that. And I'm sorry about that, by the way. But just let me know what slides. So I'm just going to let you know, like, the slides I want to present, I like 9 and 10. Those are the ones I understand the best. I think also 6 and 7 I can do as well. Once again, those are the ones I really understand. And the ones that I mostly put together, I'm sorry if I didn't. I think someone else put work into this, and I'm taking credit for it. So I'm sorry, but I did put the graphs here. So if someone else wants to do this, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But I don't want anyone to have to present something they don't understand because that's really frustrating. So yeah. And then one more thing I'll point out, just how these slides work. So I'm going to put in presentation form. Oh, there I am. So it's going to look like this when it's presented. We will have a remote, right? That's going to work. You have to be standing near the desk in the room for it to work. Otherwise, it's not going to register. So basically, I'm going to use the space bar here, which is how the remote would work. You do this, and it's going to go through the slides. And that's what Dr. Mosley said that we're going to be doing. So it's going to start out with danger face masks. I want to do something for this one if I'm presenting it. Just a little bit of fun with it. I'll explain that later, but um, yeah, just a little bit of acting to spice things up. But yeah, okay. That's how the present like the slides work. Just let me know if you're like, okay, so I think Lindsay worked on the first few, so Lindsay might say I'll do slides 2, 3, and 4, and then I'll say, okay, I'm gonna do slides 6, 7, 10, 9, and 10. Just claiming your slides so there's no like hesitation on what we're doing, if that makes sense.